Nothing's off limits.
Nothing.
So, walk us through how you were framed for murder. Tell us what happened.
The best way to tell the story is from the beginning.
Okay, we're here.
Because a dear friend of mine's, his real name was Vincent Lamoli, but we called him Jimmy Lamoli.
Yeah.
And he was one of the most feared people to ever come out of the North End.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the 108 Richmond. It was, I think it was run by Nagal at the time. And it was a real classy place with a piano. And they told him they had to shut his tab off. And he was shooting the chandeliers off the ceiling, shot the piano. Yeah, he was one of them, like if he saw you and he liked you, he'd put his arm around you and drag you in a bar with him. And
Jesus.
He really took a liking to me, but at that time, we were still all young and hanging around on Cooper Street, me, Billy Rod,
Yeah.
Even Patsy Baroni, a lot of people say bad things about him and everything like that, and it is what it is. He did make statements against me and stuff like that, and I don't hold it against him. You know what I mean?
That's got informed on you.
I try to remember that summer when I was with him, and Billy and those guys, and the two guys that I got accused of murdering hung with us too. Actually, my first pinch was with them, and Patsy was a different guy back then. He was Stone Cold Killer too. I can't say he wasn't. I mean, he shot a guy. He shot another kid during a basketball game for bumping into him when we were kids. So, but that summer he was a different person. I remember him laughing and roughhousing. You know what I mean? And ranking on each other.
Paul, I want to get to. So obviously you were framed for murder, which is a big deal. Get arrested a whole bit. Yeah. But the actual incident, was it you were there, not involved? Were you not there? I want to kind of get to the.
We'll walk right through the whole story.
Jimmy,
Patsy, and another friend of mine who's actually out on the street, and I don't want to say his name.
Yeah.
They went and robbed a kilo of cocaine that they knew was in a safe house above the Saloma Club on Fleet Street.
Okay.
One of the guys was a young kid. I think he was only 16 at the time, and they should have never involved him in this. These are grown men involving children. And he was driving, I think it was Frankie Salemi Jr.'s car at the time, or Spucky's, who was one of them. And when he drove around, they saw him driving the car, and they made copies of the keys. And someone tipped them off that there was cocaine up there. And to this day, I don't know who set that score up, but whoever set that score up started the mob war in the 80s with that.
Wow. So they robbed this guy from the kilo. Then what happens?
Well, there was a kilo and two guns in the bag. It goes missing. They trying to figure out because the door wasn't kicked in.
Yeah.
And it all came out in black and white in Patsy Baroni's testimony. He tells the whole story anyway. And they knew something was wrong. And they said, who had your car keys? And they grabbed the guy, the kid. He was, like I said, he was 16. Yeah. And they took him down to, I think it was the Knights of Columbus, they said. And after 15 minutes of being yelled at, he just told them what happened.
Wow.
And, then one of the soldiers, a big guy, went and asked Jimmy and Patsy, who were just associates.
Yeah.
But they put a lot of work in those guys, I got to say.
Yeah.
And they denied it and denied it and denied it. And then it got to the point where their friend couldn't help them.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it started a rift that started the Salemi. I hate saying his name because he's out on the street, but, Ferrara war. Because Jimmy got murdered, and Jimmy was really close, to him. It was also Patsy's best friend, and Patsy set him up to be murdered. Yeah.
So where do you come in, and how did you get framed?
Well, after the school goes down, I get a phone call, and it just so happened that day I had an asthma attack, so I go to the health center.
Yeah.
Well, I'm home, and I'm calling every ex-girlfriend I know to come over and take care of me because I'm a big baby. And then I get a phone call from my best friend, Rico Ponzo, which you know the name now, right? Yeah, and he tells me I got to come by the house. I'm dying. He goes, you got to come by the house. He goes, it's really important. And I went by the house. And once again, I don't want to say all the names that were up Ponzo's house. I'll say me and Ponzo were there. You know what I mean? and everybody knows the other guys that are there. That's all public information. Anybody that's on a lifetime parole, I wish them the best.
Yeah.
I mean, whether I like them or not, but some of these guys I love, and some of them I hate. But I don't hear nothing bad about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Either way, because they're on lifetime parole. I don't want to mess them up.
Yeah.
And I was up the house, and basically, they told me that the two kids that I used to hang with, Joe Botari and Frankie Chuccio, were going to kill them.
No shit.
Yeah. So they, well, you know, these were grown men, you know, taking 16-year-old kids, grabbing them by the throat, bothering them and stuff like that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And these guys had enough. I mean, you know, they slapped Ponzo one time. You know, I was passed out at a bar one time, and they said 2 guys gave me a beating. But the real story is I was sleeping at the bar, and someone banged my head off the bar 3 times and walked away. And then I got up and I went wild, and it took like 15 people to drag me out of there. So when they tell that story, that's the really story that happened. I don't remember a fight or an altercation. I didn't even know who hit me, anything at that time.
Yeah.
You know, so things got like a little crazy after that. They're still looking for the cocaine. No one knows where it is. Jimmy gets murdered. Patsy goes to the airport with a bag load of guns from the local gun store that got robbed. That he blamed me for. That I didn't do that one either, Tom. You know, it was my plan, but I had nothing to do with the score. You know? And he goes to a metal detector with a bag full of guns, and he tosses them to his wife.